I don't believe art is a good enough rebellion. I don't know how much it ever was. I think the examples of the punk scene in the UK and then in America and then some of the 80s, 90s music show it didn't really do much other than, it gave Suits the idea that alternative scenes are worth marketing. It's just another revenue. It's that, of course, we can keep the expectations of the pop scene, and all of that, but there is that other market. You can sell counterculture to counterculturists, and they don't realise they are still paying for another product. I'm not saying every instance is like this, but I have just not seen anything come of any of these movements or anything within literature or art or music. And someone who has spent a long time using music as a rebellious expression, I have, without being too hard on myself, I see almost wasted time. I would never want to suggest that rebellious art is a waste of time. I still think it's good for what it is, but I wonder if it's enough. I don't think it is enough anymore. I think something more has to be done. But I'm asking the same question that ultimately leads nowhere. And will I today do anything more? That's the question I'm going to ask myself. Because after writing books, making music, people aren't listening to a degree a lot of the time. I know for me as a child, it was a fashion statement. I mean, everyone, it's good that it's common knowledge, but people know that it's a fashion symbol to like this or that band, and you buy the t-shirt and you put the posters in your room. I know that's other posters, but they're not mine, but it's the good example. Is that it's how you describe yourself, because we don't know how to describe ourselves anymore other than identifying with groups. And before it used to be, you especially I guess in alternative circles, you would put labels on yourself to designate yourself politically and stuff, but I'm not saying those don't exist, but not to the same degree. And then with how much things have progressed with social media and consumerism, I mean, my god, if it was like how it was when I was a teenager, what it is now, it's just like, it's just crazy. And how badly monopolised the music markets have got, and the literature, all of it. It's all, I mean, the sea is so wide, and the gates are controlled. The dam, whatever visualisation you want to use, it's all. There are still some indie labels, and they make some impactful music, but it's drowned out. Like I said, the sea is so vast. Is that there's no way to make that statement. There's no way for people to access it, and the tools of getting people to listen have been taken away as well, because you just listen to music these days, and it has been completely designed for those instincts. I would call it almost the peripheral way we intake music is, when you don't look at it through an intellectual lens and you really squeeze your head and go, oh well, da 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 da. You just become an animal when you're listening to vibrations, and the vibrations feel good. It's that kind of thing. That's what it's for, and that's what it's been marketed as. And music is another one of those things now. Anyway, it's background noise. Like I'm guilty of this myself. I talked about in a previous video about putting a TV show on for background noise, but music's the same. You don't sit and listen to music. It's just filler. It's to comfort, you know. But why is that comfort there? And other than the, you know, what would some call the astonishing achievements of free market capitalism? It's that, oh well, the proletariat can enjoy music in their own homes at an affordable price. Well, I don't think it is that anymore. Especially with what's popular, what's marketable. I refuse to believe it's for someone's benefit, you know. And so, with all of this, I really want to stay positive and say you have to take your art locally and in person. Fuck the internet. Fuck putting your stuff on the internet, because no one is going to have a look, really, unless you're lucky. And if they do, it will be for the wrong reasons. They won't get the message of it a lot of the time. Some people will. I don't want to be 100% negative and cynical, but a lot of the time it will be for another reason. And, you know, being put in that position, if you did get successful, are you gonna ensure creative integrity? Are you gonna make sure that whatever company you're working with has the right ethos and they're moral in their proceedings and they're not going to use you like a product? How are you to know? How are you to resist that temptation? This is a question I've asked myself. If that offer on the table, am I going to be able to say no? I don't know, because you only get one chance, and there are so many examples today of people who just say, fuck it, I'm just going to do something I don't like because I don't want the alternative, you know. And I can't blame them, even with the so-called values I appear to have, you know, because it's important to realise that creating a piece of art, even if it's profound, even if it has other connotations to it that lead to either political theory or moral or philosophical, is that, again, like, I don't believe, obviously, in formal, you know, like, oh, well, you are this or you are not, in the sense of whether you have a right to speak on something. But, again, like, you know, how much of that is just you being an artist rather than an advocate, you know, like. And the greatest thing for me was just detaching from all of that, from seeing these artists as heroes, and they're just, you know, they're just people. And yeah, some of them can be bad, really bad, and some of them just, you know, have given up their individuality because they were given an offer they couldn't refuse. And what about those? I think of Chappile's album Cool World, amazing piece of work, but, you know, I'm not sure, I can't speak on their local community, but, you know, has the world woken up? Has the underground music penetrated into the norm, and has it asked a bunch of questions? No. It was you know, it caught on. This is some cool underground music. Oh, well, this band has got some quite politically motivated songs, but nothing. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what came of it. But, you know, feel free to let me know if I'm wrong. But to try and be positive, let yourself be an artist still. Value your art. It is precious. Anything added is beautiful, because we don't want to stay in a stuck homeostasis. I'm not saying we have to do things differently for the sake of it, but if we have chosen to discard what we were given, which is obviously just living completely naturally like animals, then we've got to do better. And so each new piece of art, if it's good, is innovative and it's part of that process. But sadly, at least for today or in the current climate, I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if creating art is enough